My next patron question is from Joey, who wants to know my thoughts on a couple of upcoming projects spun off from a beloved animated series. What do you think of Cartoon Network making an Adventure Time preschool series with BMO as the lead, and of CN finally making a movie, even if it's not a theatrical one? I asked because I remember you said that BMO was your favorite character, and back in 2015 you were happy to see they announced a movie. So back in the day, I was an avid viewer of Adventure Time, to the point I even have the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray. However, I admit it's been a while since I've caught up with the franchise, so I'm not as active in the fandom as much anymore. Nonetheless, it's nice that there remains interest in these characters at Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network, even if any project that starts production there these days is not guaranteed to be released. An Adventure Time movie was initially revealed to be in development back in 2015, but then nothing came to fruition. The plan was for that to be a theatrical movie, which would have been quite something, but now it's going to be made for television instead, which is still exciting. The Steven Universe movie was made for television, and that was really good. Speaking of which, Rebecca Sugar, who got that start on Adventure Time and wrote several episodes, is involved in the movie, as is Over the Garden Wall creator Patrick McHale and Adam Muda, who served as the showrunner of Adventure Time following Pendleton Ward stepping down. So the movie is in very good hands, and I do think it's a show that would lend itself to a feature-length story, as there's so many possibilities of where to take Finn the human, Jake the dog, the Ice King, and the other characters. Like Joey mentioned, there's also a preschool series in the works centered on BMO, who is indeed my favorite character. There's such a charm and likability to BMO, as voiced by Nikki Yang, and their design is an adorable one. I admittedly don't watch preschool television, so I don't know if this is a show I'll watch, but I can absolutely understand why BMO would be the lead in one, and there are a lot of potential avenues they could take them. The promo image Cartoon Network revealed is especially inviting, with its colorful clay-like appearance. Of course, even though the original series ended its run in 2018, Adventure Time has not really gone away. There was a 4-part miniseries titled Distant Lands, and Fiona and Cake, the gender-flipped versions of Finn and Jake, got their own series in 2023. And yet, I've not noticed too many people complaining that Cartoon Network has run the show into the ground. It seems like it's one of those things that people go in and out of, rather than following intensely, at least from how I see it. I've also said this before about the Despicable Me franchise, but in an age where a lot of studios often bring back properties from the 80s and 90s, it's nice that something that was made popular by those who grew up in the 2010s has become so big. They helped build it up as something that the studio considers worthy of continuing to invest in. And what's astonishing is that this show became a phenomenon. Adventure Time is not afraid of being surreal and audible and going truly out there with the visuals and ideas. It's one of those shows that does not feel the least bit driven by committee or trying to do something that's a popular trend at the time. And children really dug it and became attached to this world and characters. There was certainly a lot of adult appeal too, which is oh so remarkable. I know for me the thing I latched onto the most was its post-apocalyptic setting and seeing how the artists and writers explore that aspect of Ooo and its history. What's particularly fascinating is Pendleton Ward originally saw the setting as just this magical kingdom, and then as they were producing episodes, the post-apocalyptic aspect just naturally became a part of it. Something I'm glad it feels like we've moved past is saying an animated production that's surreal and strange was obviously made on drugs. It gives the impression that anything that has some element of oddness could only have been created if the people behind it injected a substance of some kind instead of being imaginative on their own. While there was a bit of that declaration from people when Adventure Time first aired, it has died down, and the same goes for a lot of animated series that dabble in this sort of imagery. Anyway, even though I've not followed the show in a while, it's great that it continues to live on, and with a lot of the people originally involved either still there or coming back. Adventure Time also feels like the kind of series that those who were influenced by it when they were growing up could one day become part of its writing and animation crews one day. I'm certainly curious to see how the movie turns out, and can definitely see myself giving it a watch and jumping back into the Land of Ooo again. Thank you for your question, Joey.